right, thank you for having me here. I gave a talk here like 10 years ago, and it's quite special for me to be back here 10 years later. Back then I was at Meta, now I am DeepMind, still doing open sourcing. My talk is going to be about our newest models in open source from Google. But I usually get the question when I give this talk of why Google is doing open sourcing and how does it fit into the whole story. So this time I added a few slides at the beginning just to talk a little bit about where Google is in terms of AI and what is the philosophy behind all of that. So it starts first from the mission that is represented in everything we do. Our goal is really to make AI helpful for everyone. This is not like a vague statement. This is something you can experience in every of your Google products, like in Google Maps. The fact that you have way of tracking your routes is fueled by AI to decide based on time what is the expected time. You see it in fast reply in Gmail, but you see it also in research where we regularly have Nature papers and so on. It's really something where we think of AI as a tool that can change humanity, and we want it for everyone, everywhere. The second ingredient that is really key to the revolution that happened with Google, the merger of Google and DeepMind, is that Google got into their hands a fantastic machine that has been building AI breakthrough since more than 10 years. The first one, and the pivotal moment, was AlphaGo that they did, I don't know how many years ago. But this breakthrough wasn't just an amazing AI model. It's also a way to have AI breakthrough, from the design of the project, thinking of is it a good project? How do we tackle it? How do we do the infra on top of it? And when you see it from the inside, it's not just random ideas here and there. It's a really powerful machine to build AI products, and that is now being put in the service of a lot of AI tools and products within Google. Since AlphaGo, I'm pretty sure you've seen all of the changes that has happened in AI and has been fueled by Google. This has touched every possible aspect: chemistry, education, agriculture, climate change, video games recently with Genie. It's really everywhere. And Google has put their hands in all of these things, and really because this is core to their mission of helping humanity everywhere with AI. Now, this has been what led to kind of the moment where they decided to do that merger, because they saw a massive moment in AI that came to us thanks to ChatGPT, which was the fact that we were able now to do, we could be able to do AI being able to do that are able to do anything. And so that's where started this fantastic journey that is Gemini, that started 2 years ago, that has started with the first model, which was okay, and now I think it's getting into the place where it's becoming the absolute best AI model out there. In particular, the 2.5 recent release that has come in 3 different models, the Pro, Flash, and Flashlight. But basically, kind of all of this knowledge from DeepMind on how to do good research, as well as from Brain, has been put together toward that unique goal. But these things just tell a part of the story, just like the focus point of Google's strategy in terms of AI. But the reality is that we actually ship at massive speed. Over the last 2 years, we've released all these models. So some of them are Gemini, but others like VO, ImageGen, Gemma, of course, Agent Space, Mariners. We are releasing models everywhere in every possible domain where we think we can have a breakthrough. And then afterwards, sometimes we integrate them into Gemini, or they become their own products. It's true on the model side, but it's also true on the application side. Every surface of Google now is completely fueled with AI. You've seen recently the AI mode deployment in Google Search, Gemini Live, of course, Deep Research, VO3, and so on and so on. Every time we have one of these projects that's bubbled from DeepMind, it's now almost automatically put into some kind of product or something like that. It's really leveraging muscle that this company has been building for the last 10 years to build these models. And so it's in this ecosystem of model where we try to bring AI wherever we think it's important that we develop Gemma. That this is why it makes a lot of sense for us to open models. And that's where I'm going to talk a little bit about Gemma 3 here, and this is going to be the focus on the rest of this talk. But I hope now you understand why Gemma has a lot of meaning for Google. We are tackling a real ecosystem, the open ecosystem that is pretty big, and we try to bring there, again, AI to help that ecosystem. I mean, just in terms of number, to give a sense of how big is this market, since we released Gemma 3, we had more than 300 million downloads. That was in October. Sorry, the slides are from there. I haven't updated the numbers, probably now more closer to 400 or 500 millions. And this is just Gemma. So we are not the #1 open model. Like we have things like Qwen and so on that are like incredible also and very popular. But that gives you an idea of how important this ecosystem is and why it makes sense for Google to be in it and to try to help it and help developers build whatever they want with this AI. In this version, we added a lot of new features that we observed were quite popular among the community. The first one was to have a native multimodal model. By that I mean that it can take images in and think about them. We also added for some of the models, the smallest one that goes on phone, audio. The reason why we wanted audio on the model that were designed for phone is because a lot of the interaction that we expect people or developers to build within phones may come with speech. And so we added this multimodal capability where we saw the needs from the developer. We also pushed very hard on the multilinguality with more than 140 languages. I think it's still one of the most popular models when it comes to other languages than English and Chinese, even though it's now more than a year old. And the reason for it is, again, driven by trying to meet the people who need open models where they are. That is, we have seen from previous iteration that more than 80% of our users were outside of the US. Showing an important need for touching a lot of languages, popular languages as well as rare languages. We also, back then, added a capacity that now is kind of relatively standard, but was not as much then, which was to have a long context, which allows you to upload your documents and reason a little bit about them, and so on. And that has also come from the fact that our previous model had a small context window, and people had a hard time developing apps with only 8K limitations. Everything put together kind of gave us a model that we're able to work in relatively complex scenario. Like here is an example of someone taking a picture of some sign in I don't know which country, where there is different text in different languages, and a user asking question about what's in the picture and translating it. Then when it's translated, you can continue in a multi-turn fashion to answer different questions. So this is like the latest version we released, as I said, more than a year ago. Obviously, we work on newer version as of now. But on top of that, we also try to bring some of the innovation that we think is important to specific communities, sometimes researchers and sometimes AI specialists that are within one domain. And that's why we also have a program within our Gemma brand that is trying to get variants out. Like what I mean by variants is models that are built on top of Gemma, but has a very specific use case, or that has a very specific architecture that is not common in the large language modeling community. I'm going to just talk about two of them very rapidly because they are quite recent and popular, and I think show a little bit the philosophy we have behind this variants. The first one is MedGemma, which is a derivative of Gemma that is very tailored toward anything that has to do with medical understanding. It is multimodal, so it understands image and so on. And since its release, it has been one of the most popular models on Google Cloud. And the reason is that a lot of people who want to use medical models happens to want open models rather than proprietary one, either for privacy reason or because simply they want to build their app around it and they don't want that to be related to a closed model. So this one is a typical example of where we absolutely need an open model because private data, even though you have guarantees with closed models, may put some people more at ease if they use an open model. The second one is one that has been designed to work with sign languages, which is called SignGemma. It's focusing mostly on English at the moment, but the goal is over time to also extend it to more sign language than the American one. But you have this idea that this is something that is a very particular case where we can deliver one model for a community that is very specific, might be a bit too niche to have that in a more bigger ecosystem, but with this type of small models that we can easily fine-tune and so on, we can bring that. This work has been done with specialists in this domain and has been received relatively extremely good feedback. In general, the way we operate is a very community-driven development. What I mean by that is that every time we do a release or when we plan for the next release, we just stay in contact and reach out to the open source community through either different social media, but just because also we are very much intertwined with them, and ask them what didn't work in the previous version, what do they want to see, where they see usage, why our model is less popular than another one, and so on. So really try to build not just to make some kind of fancy model, but also really with the community we are serving. And another part of that effort is we have been investing a lot into the deployment. Like we are on a lot of surfaces. This has been quite a massive effort because Google is historically a company that usually is not that embedded with the open ecosystem, and so we had to build a whole new relation and so on around these tools. And trust, so that we were able to discuss with them and be able to implement our model with them. And now we are basically helping them deploying our models, but also improving some of these tools. And with that, this concludes my talk. Thank you.